Okay, here's the deal. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. I'm running out of room. So I've got my crawler there. I can't move it because the transfer case decided to explode on me. So I've got that sitting over here. And then I need to change the brakes on my truck. So I'm trying to do that now. And I have to get all this out of the way before I can start the cheap Jeep project, which is supposed to be sitting right here, or at least that's where I'd like for it to sit. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, well, just move the Jeep forward and I'll have more room. Well, I could, but it gets complicated. The transmission and the engine is being held up by this jack down here, so that makes it that much harder just to roll it forward. So let's get this truck done. Oh. Oh. Huh? Oh. I've been wandering around for the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, looking for a giant 4-foot breaker bar. How do you misplace a 4-foot breaker bar? Found it. Turns out I didn't even need the breaker bar. I thought I would need the breaker bar because when I did the rear, it was so rusted on there that I had to practically break breaker bar to get it to the lug nuts to come loose. So anyway, one down. New brakes complete. Holy crap though, there was a solid line going to the caliper. Hard line. That was completely foreign to me. But who does that? Everything too was completely rusty. You would think this Tundra came from Canada or something. Actually, it did come from Canada. I feel sorry for you northerners, truly, I do. Normally a brake job though, like on my Jeep here, would take what, like 20 minutes or something? That took me 30 minutes just for one side. Really it wasn't that bad though, it was just new, something different, something I've never done before. Now to do the other side. So that was a complete disaster. What should have taken about 30 minutes turned into a day and a half. Let me explain. So now it's starting to rain, but let me tell you a quick story of what happened last night. So I go to change the other side of the brakes, the brake pads and the rotor. And everything's going great. It's like 10 minutes in and I'm putting everything back together. I'm going to slide the pads back in. And what do you know, the caliper is stuck. So I try to get it loose. It won't budge. So I have to buy a new caliper. So I've got a crap ton of vehicles, right? But my wife, she's at work. My son, he's at work. My blue Dodge has no reverse. And it's got, which wouldn't be a problem, but it's got no tags either. My red truck, it does have insurance, but no tags. And the headlights are iffy on that one. And my cheap Jeep that I just bought has no tags and no insurance yet. So I've got all these cars sitting around that I could possibly drive, but don't want to get in trouble. So the only car I have to drive is my truck. So I realize anyway, I'm going to have to put my truck back together because it's sticking halfway out of the shop and I don't want to leave the house for several hours with my garage wide open. So I have to put the truck back together with the old brakes just so that I can take it to town and get a new brake caliper. I do that, put it back together. By this point it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I drive to town, get the part that I need. I had to go even further because the one close by me didn't have what I needed. So I get that, and then on the way back, my air compressor clutch decides to go out. So there's that. What should have been 30 minutes ended up taking a day and a half. So after all that, now we can get to the point of this video. So what was the point of this video again? Alright, the cheap Jeep. Man, it got 20 degrees colder since yesterday. freezing my can. So the purpose of this video was to go over the Jeep and to give you my plans. So if you guys follow the Facebook page, a while back I put out a survey and I asked 3 different questions. The first question was the budget. Should the budget be for the cheap Jeep $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000? And 80% of you said $3,000. The second question was, should it have to be street legal? And again, 80% of you said yes, it should be street legal. And the third question was, is welding allowed? So about 65% of you said yes, welding should be allowed on this project. After that was done, I asked what kind of Jeep you guys would like to see, and overwhelmingly I think ZJ was the top pick. And a lot of you that said you wanted a ZJ wanted a V8 ZJ. So how is the cheap Jeep project going to work? Well, when I say a total of $3,000 budget, that means we have exactly $3,000 to spend. The Jeep already cost $1,500, so we have $1,500 left. So when that $1,500 runs out, that's it. There's no more. This Jeep has to be finished. Finito, end. So when I asked for ideas, a lot of people said, you need an Atlas, you need a Dana 60, you need a 14 bolt, you need to do all this stuff. And I think the people that said those things forgot that this is the cheap Jeep project. So what I want to do is maximize that budget. We have $1,500 left, so I need to pick the cheapest but best upgrades that I can do for $1,500 so that by the end of it we will still have a capable Jeep. But it still needs to stay within that budget. I can't go over. So there's going to be a lot of junkyard parts that we need to do. I need your ideas for like a bastard lift. People keep telling me that I can move the front springs to the rear and then get new springs from the junkyard for the front, but I don't know what springs to use for the front. If you could post an article or a write-up, I can't just take your word for it because I don't know you. No, what I mean is I need to know that it's going to work. I don't want somebody just to tell me, oh, grab some Crown Vic springs and put them in there, they'll be awesome. I need to have some sort of evidence that it's going to work. So let's take a look at the Jeep as it sits today. It's a 1998. I assume it's the 5.2 V8 because it doesn't have the hood for the 5.9. The headliner is missing. All of the windows go up and down from the driver's seat, but from the rear left, that window doesn't go up and down. Not a big deal. The interior is pretty rough. The seats are torn, but for a cheap Jeep, they're pretty comfortable. I think if I just got a seat cover or something like that, maybe we could also find a used one from Pull Apart if we have left over in the budget. The steering wheel needs a new cover. It looks like it's got the 249 transfer case, so it's all-time four-wheel drive. I'm not super happy about that, but if it's in the budget, we might swap 231 into there. Not sure. It's also a possibility that I could take it out and just wheel the crap out of it and see if that is a weak link or not. It's possible that the 249 will work just fine. So the check engine light is not coming on, which is good. It's got 210,000 miles. I can hear a pulley in the engine. When the engine is running, you can hear that there's a pulley that is just going crazy. So I need to get a little stethoscope and figure out which pulley that is and replace it. I took a look at the brakes and they are in definite need of replacement. The tires still have quite a bit of tread on them, but they're not exactly what I want. We'll see if we have anything in the budget for that. The door trim on the driver and passenger side is falling off. I've heard a lot about that. I did hear a lot about the leak, the door seals leak, but so far it's been sitting in the rain for about 3 days and I don't see a drop of water in here, so that's good news. The body seems really straight, which is awesome. It does have a 2-inch receiver, which helps a lot as well. The display sensor here is telling me that the coolant sensor is bad, and it also says that the rear taillights are out. There's a couple times that the engine has stumbled on me, but I'm almost thinking that it could be that pulley is seizing up and causing that to have some trouble. But it's also very, very low on gas, so it could be just I need some new gas or fresh gas. Maybe there's some bad gas in there. And I also could use a tune-up, I'm sure. The tires are 235/16 Primewell all-terrains, and the wheels are aluminum. Looks like they've been painted black. The engine bay looks fairly clean. Not a lot of oil in there, which is a good sign. The coolant level is low, so we need to figure out what's going on there. And it has what looks like an aftermarket cold air intake with a cone filter on it. So the front axle is a Dana 30, and the rear axle is a Dana 44, which is good. Although the front axle has CV joints, which I'd like to replace with the U joints if possible. What's weird is that I posted on Facebook that I got this Jeep for $1,500, and some people are saying, wow, that's a steal. Where did you find one of those for $1,500? And some people said, wow, that's not cheap at all. I got mine for $170. So that's just kind of odd. Maybe it's different parts of the country. Or maybe they're just lying. Or maybe they bought it from their grandpa. Cars, wind, airplane, helicopter. Alright, that's all I can think of at the moment. I hope that answered some of your questions. If you have any more, leave those in the comments section below. I'll try to answer them. Stay tuned for the next video because we're going to get started working on this thing very soon. I hope. If it gets warmer. Maybe.